Yeah!
And are you ready to create a single-payer national health care system? I am ready too. But this change won't come in just one election. We've already seen that one election is not enough. George Bush and Dick Cheney have done too much damage to America. This time, after this election, we need people in Congress who not only say what's right, but are tough enough to do what's right. To reclaim America, to restore the faith and trust that American people have lost in their government. It begins by reestablishing the basic principle on which this nation was founded. The idea that we are governed by rule of law and that no one is above the law. Not even the president. We must finally hold the Bush-Cheney administration accountable. Because if we fail to do that, we will have allowed them to steal our country, and we may never get it back. When I was elected York County District Attorney, I took an oath to uphold the Constitution. This is not just the first act of an elected official, it's the most important act. The oath is not just a symbol, it's a pledge that every public official will put the rights of the people above power and privilege, above partisan agendas, and above personal ambition. George Bush and Dick Cheney took that same oath when they entered office. Yet there is substantial evidence that the Bush-Cheney administration has repeatedly and openly violated that oath, reaching far beyond their scope of powers, taking actions that were never given to them under our Constitution. Even Bush insiders, like Scott McClellan, have now acknowledged the arrogance of this administration, their deception, and their incompetence. But what we are talking about here is far more severe than arrogance. It's far more dangerous than incompetence, and far more lasting than deception. What we are talking about here strikes at the very heart of what our nation is founded on. And there is only one true remedy: impeachment. There are those who say it's not the best strategy, that it's too late, that it would stir up too much partisan feeling, that it would be a distraction. They are wrong. It is never a good strategy to let the president ignore the rule of law. It's never too late to defend our Constitution. And when a president circumvents that Constitution, impeachment is not a distraction, it's our duty. As Democrats, we have always stood for economic fairness and civil justice. But how can we guarantee those principles, good jobs, good education, health care, if we fail to defend the very Constitution and democracy when it's most at risk? How can anybody suggest that real change is possible if we simply ignore the corruption of the foundations of all America and Americans believe in? We cannot patch the roof and paint the walls on our government while our foundation is crumbling. History has taught us that justice delayed is justice denied. Benjamin Franklin warned us that those who trade essential freedoms for a little more security will end up with neither. I want to go to Washington to restore our Constitution and our democracy. I want to hold those who created this mess accountable. I want to undo the damage the Bush administration has done. Together, we can end the war in Iraq now. We can create national single-payer health care. We can establish public financing of federal elections and stop the influence of lobbyists. We can dramatically change our energy policy. But something I want to do more than anything else, and this is the prosecutor in me coming out, I want to get big oil on the witness stand.
Yeah!
They can justify their profit when Mainers are struggling to pay for gas and pay for food. I want to ask the CEO of Halliburton how he can justify sweetheart deals when Maine small businesses cannot afford health care for their employees. My fellow Democrats, we go back together a long way, and many of you I call dear friends. I want to recognize one delegate from Kittery here, my mother Evelyn, who's here. And I want to recognize one delegate in absentia, my father Irving. He was elected a delegate from Kittery, passed away 2 months ago. I know that he's watching over us here today, and I know that he's very proud of what his son is fighting for. My parents never went to college. My father started working on the Kittery shipyard, earning 93 cents an hour as a welder. My mother went back to work to pay for the four of us, our four sons, to go to college. They taught us the values of honesty, hard work, and fairness. That's what America has been about. Each generation working to make life better for the next generation. In America, we believe what's important is not who you are, but how hard you're willing to work. Over the last 8 years, George Bush and Dick Cheney have trashed those values.
Yeah.
They have created a culture of rewarding power and privilege at the expense of working families. As district attorney, I fight hard every day to make sure no one is above the law, to hold people accountable for their actions. As Maine's representative from District 1, I will fight every day for you to see that Washington is accountable to you, beginning with the Bush-Cheney administration. But this election isn't about any one person or any one candidate. It's about the future of our country. And I am convinced we will never really change Washington until we elect people who not only know what's right, but are tough enough to do what's right. With your help and your vote, I will be that member of Congress. Thank you very much.